I need to make that intro longer. Dick Nabbit. Welcome to Look Around the Confederation. I'm your host for Evening Moose. And before we get started, please remember the views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are not necessarily the views and opinions of the SCV, its GEC, nor Division Brigade camps or the subsidiaries, strictly those expressing them. How is everybody doing in Dixieland tonight? Why don't you guys help me out here and please share this episode out? Because I do think tonight is a very interesting and needed topic about community. And I am bringing on one of the best divisions I've seen do that when it comes to the California Division. So we will be having the California Division Commander Tod on to talk about just the work they've been doing in California and kind of how to get involved, how to get started in your communities. I'm putting him on the spot with that. So Tod, that's payback for trolling me before we got started. Now you have to talk about that. Good luck, Tod. So, yes, it is a good day in Dixieland, and this is a conversation I'm really looking forward to. I am still sharing. I'm in so many SCV groups now. It's not even funny. I haven't even switched over to the SCV chat page yet. This is just my personal. People in these groups must either love me or hate me with the amount of SCV stuff I share. They're probably like, dude, give it a rest, not knowing that I'm crazy. So I feel for him. But hopefully we're almost done. I'm surely close to the end. I am not. Tod saying howdy in the chat is just trolling. That's just evil. But I will greet everybody in a second. I'm also trying to kill as much of Tod's time as I can. Just again, because Tod was mean before we got started. And this is my revenge tour. Almost there. I'm almost there. I'm somehow still in the Arizona section. Boom, there we go. Well, I'm done with most of it. So we're almost there, I promise. This is why I need help sharing out, everybody. We could have started the show off. I could have been talking and singing. Oh gosh, the screensaver on Facebook. Oh, why does Facebook do that to me? I look like I'm, inebriated. What is that, Facebook? Thank you, Facebook. That was much appreciated. Moving to a dry county. Well, apparently Facebook thinks I need to, because that is just an awful picture they have put up of me. That's nice. It's a great day. I don't know. Have I shared this yet? Share. It's not loading. Joyful. There it is. All right, we're done. Everybody's this has been the entertaining 5 minutes for you, hasn't it? But if you don't know who I am your host of the Evening Moose. Our disclaimer is still in the chat, so please remember that. All views and opinions expressed are their own, and they do not reflect the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Loy from Arkansas, Camp 648, Hot Springs. Good to see you. Matt, good to see you. And Matt, everybody, let's give him a warm applause, because Matt is joining the Sons of Confederate Veterans. So thank you, Matt. We cannot wait to have you in as a brother. Welcome. Good to see a new face in the chat. Charles LeRae, good to see you from the great state of Louisiana. David Pope from Camp 87. Tod from California Division, our speaker tonight. Past Commander-in-Chief, the Lone Ranger, Chuck McMichael. Al from Camp 155 of Tennessee. Wilford Wood, good to see you. We got some people coming in the chat. Zeb, good to see you. Good to see everybody. Good to see you. Again, please share this episode out. Again, I love tonight's topic because it is just one I think the major let me rephrase that. There's a couple major battlefields this war for our heritage is on, and this is going to be in the communities. And there's only one department of the SCV that handles communities, and that is really the camps. You've heard a lot of past commander-in-chiefs on the show talk about it. A matter of fact, I've heard Paul Gramlin, past commander-in-chief, and the most sharp-dressed man in the SCV say this. The camps are the backbone of the organization, and that's very true because you represent the SCV in the communities. So tonight we'll be kind of focused on community involvement. Speaking of which, wow, he shall appear, the most sharp-dressed man in the SCV, past commander-in-chief Paul Gramlin. Good to see you, sir. Brigade General J.J. Alfred A. Mooten, Camp 778 in the chat. Good to see you from Louisiana. I'm not saying y'all's town. I love that camp. Y'all send in great news. I'm not going to embarrass y'all or myself by trying to pronounce the Louisiana name. We all just know that's not going to go well. Just look at the books. Look at the Shelby Foote books. I have 2 Robert E. Lee statues in my office. So I have this one from Monuments Cross Dixie, from the Richmond monument that they stole from us, and they're trying to put back up in another location in Virginia. All money went to the monument, by the way. Can't wait to see that up. But I also have a bust of him, and I keep forgetting it at my house. I moved my office, and now all my stuff is missing, including the first gift I ever got in the organization while I became camp adjutant. But actually, the same person gave me this wonderful clock when I was elected camp commander. And, of course, Audrey. The plant Audrey. Audrey the plant. The camp's more so than any part of this organization, and I couldn't agree more, and that's kind of what we're talking about tonight. As I said earlier, I'm really looking forward to it. Matt says he's going to be in the Saltville Home Guard SCV camp in Virginia. And he also writes books to preserve our Confederate heritage. Well, thank you, Mr. Holmes. I'm glad to see you join this great organization. Cannot wait to see. I know you've already contributed to the cause, but what you do in the organization as well. I'm very much looking forward to that, Matt. There's things that we all can do. At every level, every member of this organization has something they can do, and I just love hearing about it. Hey, we got a whole army in the chat. Army of Trans-Mississippi is in the chat. Hello from the best army in the Confederation. I'm sure our guest tonight will agree with you, but there's nothing a bit wrong with some state pride, or in this case, army pride, so I'm going to say AOT rules, but everybody else is great too. I'll get myself in trouble on the show. I'll get some messages for some camps. I remember I said a joke one of the first years we were doing Look Around. Yeah, there's Todd. And I actually got an email similar to that, Todd, where people said that I was being harsh on the other armies. And I was like, no. Our ancestors believed in state pride over everything, pride in communities. I'm a very proud member of the Samuel H. Poe Camp, number 255 of the Mississippi Division of the Army of Tennessee of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. But someone said I was just harsh on them, and I don't know why. People are going to their armies now. AMV, the Army of Northern Virginia. Jason Lloyd, good to see you. Checking in from the Turner Asby Camp. We actually got some news from the Turner Asby Camp tonight that we'll be talking about. Alan from the Lieutenant General Richard Taylor Camp, 1308 of Shreveport, Louisiana. Yeah, an Army of Trans-Mississippi saying we got to support the California Division tonight. That is, I love seeing that. I love seeing all the support going around. It is great to have pride in the departments you are in this organization, but it's also good to support the other ones. There's a lot of great things going on in this organization. I love it. I mean, again, me and Todd have met each other maybe once in person, have talked multiple times, and I don't know if a division member or an organization member could get farther away from me than Todd. Todd hated me so much, he flew halfway across the country and settled in California. He just didn't know it yet. He didn't know he was running from something. Poor Todd. Todd can't even defend himself, and that's why I get to make these jokes. Now people will throw in brigades in it. I love it. I love it. I have to show brigade pride because I'm 5th Brigade Commander of the Mississippi Division, so it'd be kind of messed up if I didn't. I went to Texas to make. Is Thomas Legion considered Army of Tennessee or Army of Northern Virginia? Where is it located? We do Army departments. Now, are you talking about the actual war or in the SCV? That's the question. Army departments in the SCV we do by states. So don't get me started. I can. Where is it? There it is. Wait. I'm gonna go off the screen for a minute. Y'all catch a quick. Boom. I forgot that I put the Army location backdrops in this organization as the backdrop for Look Around. Oh, gosh. It has been a day, if you can't tell. We'll be get started in a second soon to get over the news and let Tod talk. Tod, by the way, this isn't cutting into your time. I hope you know that. Tod might have somewhere to go, though. I don't know. I didn't ask Tod. I just kind of forced Tod on. I bullied him. It could be both. Oh, actually, past Commander-in-Chief, thank you. It is in the Army of Northern Virginia, North Carolina. Fun fact, that's where the Dawes family originated from. Or not originated, but that's where we decided to set forth, is in the Carolinas. We stayed in the Carolinas for a while, transferring between North and South. And then S.O. Dawes, my Confederate ancestor, decided to go to the great state of Mississippi, where his wagon broke, and that's where he founded the Dawes farm. Just did not feel like fixing the wagon wheel. Looked around. Family lore says this is as good a place as any. And that is how my Confederate ancestor ended up in Mississippi. I don't know where he was going. I think maybe even Florida. I think far south is Florida. But when the wagon wheel stopped, he made Mississippi his home, and it has been that way since the 1830s, 1820s. We've been in here for coming on 2 centuries, maybe already over 2 centuries. So been a Mississippian for a while till the wheels fell off. Yeah, he was trying to pass a creek, and he got through the creek, but the wheels still fell off. And the family heritage says that my Confederate ancestor, Private S.O. Dawes, jumped out, tried fixing it for a while. He had just married his wife, and he just kind of looked at her, looked around, and was like, well, this is as good a place as any, and set some stakes in Mississippi, and we haven't looked back. But it was cool to go to North and South Carolina and see some of the early Daweses. That was cool too. Let's see here. Anything else? All right. I don't see anything else. By the way, my brain is fried. I should have had a cup of coffee before I came on. I'm just dead. It has been a long day. I'm tired. For some reason, my eye hurts. I can't even explain that. But if you're running for an Army office, please contact us immediately. If you are thinking about running for an Army office, haven't announced, still mulling it over, please still email us. It would be great to go ahead and schedule you just in case you do make the announcement. It would help us out. Starting in January, Look Around will be taken over by the interviews again. Well, we'll be interviewing each person running for national office from the commander-in-chief down to the Army councilman. This year is going to be a bit different. I try to break it up by Army and by position. I think this year we're just going to start with whatever Army positions we can get nailed first. Now, I would like to schedule, if there's multiple positions, say running for AOT councilman, I would like back-to-back weeks of them on. But beyond that, it's going to be a bit looser because last year, oh gosh, trying to schedule all that together was chaotic, but I'm still going to try to go by this simple rule. We'll start off with the armies, then move on to lieutenant, then move on to CIC. So that's kind of the game plan. CIC will be safe for last. So if you're running for that position, you have a hot minute. If you're running for lieutenant commander in chief, I don't know if both candidates are on just yet, but I'll say it at the end of the episode to make sure. Are two people that have announced so far. You'll be second to last. We'll do your interviews back to back. And then before that, though, starting in January, we'll focus on the armies. And it will kind of just be first come, first serve. If there's only one person announced and one person that's emailed us, then we'll just go ahead and give their interview. But I would like to get everybody who is running. Last year, we only had one position not covered. I would like to cover all the positions, and that's why I'm asking, even if you're thinking about it and haven't announced, to please contact us, because we would like to give the membership a taste of what your ideas are. I believe that is an important job. We will stay not biased. We'll stay unbiased. Of course, SCV Chat does not get involved in the SCV's politics. We are two separate entities. We just do the interview process. So we will not be saying who we're voting for as members. We will not be throwing softballs. We will be asking just general questions about platform. And, of course, the audience can ask questions as well. Let's see here. What else about that? Oh, we'll announce the winners, too. Special look around will come at the reunion. All right. I think I've stalled a bit enough, so we'll get into the news and we'll bring on our guest. So, Derek T. Glover, good to see you from the great state of Tennessee. But let's get started. There's a good little bit to get through. So let me plop this up here. There's so much Tod stuff. I have to remember what is Tod's and what isn't, because like a genius, I didn't separate the two. So now it's just a guessing game. So you might see stuff from Tod tonight first before he even gets on. That's what you get when you're running off of 3 hours of sleep and been working since 7. It's a glorious day. You heard it here first tonight, everybody. The most sharp-dressed man in the SCV, Past Commander-in-Chief Paul Grandma Jr., is once again running for Past Commander-in-Chief. I hope you win again, sir. That might be one of my favorite running jokes in the SCV, because you don't understand the joke until you do some of these positions. Gosh. Yeah. I believe that. Oh, yeah, it's so easy once you get to those positions to be like, you know what? I'm running for past. I understand that now. I always never understood the joke when I first heard it. I was like, well, yeah, that's a bit weird. I guess there's a joke there. Oh, get involved in this organization. You'll understand that joke. Golly, I can't wait to announce I'm running for past offices. I feel like I've gotten gray hair. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump into some news. First bit of news comes from the Missouri Division, talking about their reunion. So the Missouri Division will host its annual reunion on March 27th through the 28th in Carthage, Missouri. Registration form is available at MissouriSCV.org. The theme this year is Surrender is Not an Option. As I said, March 27th to the 28th, it is extremely important that you show up for your reunions. And, of course, if you can make it to another division reunion, please do. You can learn so much. I got to go out to Missouri, not for their reunion, but for another one of their events, and I learned a good bit there. I've learned a lot from these shows. But if you can go to another division reunion, you need to. Very big learning experience. And let's stay in the Army of Trans-Mississippi with an Army of Trans-Mississippi event. The Army of Trans-Mississippi Field Day will be on April 18th in 2026 It will be returning to Mansfield Battle Park in Mansfield, Louisiana. This year's program will focus on the role of troops from Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, as well as troops in the Red River campaign. So spend a day honoring celebrating our honorable history and heritage. Speakers, food, games, music, and fellowship. So make sure to go out and enjoy the Army of Trans-Mississippi Field Day. Oh, past Commander-in-Chief and Army of Trans-Mississippi Councilman Chuck McMichael said he will be going to the Missouri Union. So let us know how it goes. I want to go one year because they invited me last year and I wasn't able to go. So I want to go one year. If a certain other division, they know who I'm talking to, will move their division reunion, I can make it, but y'all host it the same day as mine. I'm watching you. I have to make that joke for my Alabama brothers because Alabama and Mississippi are just so close. We are like brothers. And Alabama and Mississippi hold their division reunions on the same day. And I want to go to one. Check out Morgan on the Rim on October 24th, 25th, and 26th. So this weekend in Tennessee, admission is $10 daily for an adult, kids 12 to 17, though the daily pass is $7. But there's a 2-day pass for adults for $15, and children 12 to 17 is $9. Friday will be a school day free to all students from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. with 11 interactive living history programs. Saturday opening ceremonies will begin at 10 a.m., ladies' tea at 11 a.m., artillery and infantry demonstrations at 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. President Lincoln will address the crowd with a speech at 12:30 p.m., and first day's battle will begin at 2 p.m. with a flag retirement ceremony immediately following the battle. Sunday, church services start at 10 a.m., artillery and infantry demonstrations at 10:30 to 12 p.m., guest speakers at 12:30, and the second battle will start at 2 p.m. Period will be by the 52nd Regimental String Band. Visit the injured soldiers at the medical tent and hear their stories, and shop at Period Settlers and Vendors. Please come join the festivities and help us keep history alive. And the next bit is actually the Tennessee Division Reunion will be April 17th through the 18th in Morristown Landing, Tennessee. Let's see here. Registration is $65 an attendee. There will be an afternoon tour bus to Longstreet Museum. And, of course, there will be advertising available. Please, again, make sure to go out to your reunions. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Derek Glover makes a good point. Past Commander-in-Chief Paul Gremlin Jr. is the Diamond CIC, if you will, because he was the 75th CIC. So bright, sharp, that sums up Paul to a T. Bright and sharp. Yes. Oh, it's also past Commander-in-Chief's birthstone. That is, man, don't you just love how that stuff works out? Isn't that cool? All right, next bit of news. Again, we're going to be staying in Tennessee for a bit for a turkey shoot from the General Robert E. Hatton Camp 723 of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. It will be November 15th and 16th and December 6th. Saturday will be from 8 to 12, Sunday from 1 to 4. It will be at the Wilson County Fairgrounds. Turkey, country ham, bacon, and money rounds. For more information, please go check out Hatton Camp SEV on Facebook. And they also, I believe, have another event. And you are invited to the remembrance of General Robert Hatton on the occasion of his birth, November 1st at 10 a.m. at Cedar Grove Cemetery. The Hatton Camp will honor its namesake of the camp by celebrating the birth date and honoring his life of this local popular hero. General Robert H. Mouton surrendered his life leading his beloved boys into battle during the war between the states. Camp Commander Tom Wood will speak on Hatton's fascinating life and share very funny stories about him. The ceremony will take place at his gravesite, and the public is invited. That sounds like a phenomenal event happening up in Tennessee. Paul says that's also the year he graduated high school. Let's all hope that I am seeing the Lord the year I'm graduating high school, because that would be in 100 years. Wait, no. Again, I'm brain dead. I don't even know what joke I was going to tell there. I'm trying to remember. This is why I need Paul. He's bright and he's sharp. That needs to be a T-shirt, Commander. Please. If I don't see you in a T-shirt, and I know you have to wear a sports jacket with it, but if I don't see you in a blue blazer with a diamond that says Past Commander in Chief on it and it says sharp and bright, I'm going to be upset at the next national reunion. I could design the T-shirt for you. Chuck can. Past Commander in Chief Chuck Michaels designed a good couple T-shirts I've seen recently. I have no idea what else he's designed over the years, so y'all need to do that. Please, I'm begging you. I'll buy one of the T-shirts if you sell it. That's just phenomenal. You can have Past Commander in Chief Paul Gremlin's face on the back, too. He can watch everybody at the national reunion, keep an eye on everybody. All right, next bit of news takes us to the great state of Mississippi via the Louisiana Division. So, Louisiana Division members of the Beauregard Camp 130, the Allen Camp 133, and the Camp Moore Camp 1223, and the Mouton Camp 778 participated in the 38th annual Fall Muster event in the Mississippi Division as members of the Washington Artillery. The beautiful weather brought out big crowds to tour the grounds, the Presidential Library, Jefferson Davis's last home, Beauvoir Mansion, and to watch the battle reenactment. Big plans are in store for next year's 40th anniversary of Fall Muster. And I want to say thank you to the members that made up the Washington Artillery for coming out and supporting us here at the Mississippi Division. That meant a lot. And yes, the Mississippi Division is currently already planning the 40th annual Fall Muster event. It is going to be the biggest Fall Muster in our history. So I'm looking forward to it. We are, as I said, already trying to put some big waves in to make sure it is the biggest. Yes. Anytime Past Commander-in-Chief Paul Gremlin walks in the room, I need someone to play ZZ Top's Sharp Dressed Man. I need it in my life. If that is not how we enter this man, this legend, into our midst, I'm going to be upset. Let me put it back up there for a bit. Yeah, Charles Hurray's in that picture. Now, I don't know any of the other gentlemen, but I'm glad that they had a great time at Fall Muster and are planning to come back next year. I can't thank y'all enough for that. And I'm already looking forward to next year myself. And next, we are going to go to the Kentucky Division as the General Ben Hardin Helm Camp in Kentucky joined Kentucky Division Commander Kyle Thompson on a tour of Jack Henson's grave and home in Dover, Tennessee during the annual Fort Donelson Relic Show. Jack Hilson, by the way, is just a phenomenal story that if you don't know it, definitely need to check it out. I'm jealous that these men got to go to the grave because I really want to go to it badly. Past division commander Thompson, hear me. I really, really want to go. I read that book on him, and it is just phenomenal. But our next bit of news takes us to the Virginia Division. With the Turner Ashby Camp 1567 had a table set up at this year's 161st annual and reenactment of the Battle of Cedar Creek, the last major battle in the Shenandoah Valley, took place October 19th, 1864. These men had a great time setting up, and of course, was able to represent the organization well. Thank you guys thank you to the members of the Turner Ashby Camp. Keep up the great work, gentlemen. And let's see here. Our last bit of news takes us to, I believe, back to the Kentucky Division. And then we'll be getting into tonight's topic. So let me pull it up. There it is. Benton, Mayfield, Calvert City, and the Wycliffe camps were all on deck for the 3-day 2025 Columbus Bilmont State Park Civil War weekend. Record crowd on Saturday. Lots of outreach was made. You can see in the background the Alfred Johnson Camp 227 of the SCV. They also gave out free Bibles, which I think is just a phenomenal thing to do. I am actually in the process of trying to steal that idea for my camp. Congratulations, gentlemen. I'm glad you had a great time. Let's see here. That is, as I said, all the news before we get into tonight's main speaker. Let's see here. Matt says he filled out his SCV application at the Battle of Saltville, Virginia reenactment on September 12th. He was in a Confederate uniform waving my battle flag based on my ancestors and was selling my books on the local Confederate history of the Commonwealth of Virginia and Western North Carolina. Very awesome, very awesome, very awesome. You need to send us a link to your books. I'd love to see what you're putting out there, Mr. Holmes. Derek says, Moose, your dad and I really enjoyed the Henson tour. Yeah, I really wanted to go to that. And there's so much work at the farm, I couldn't. So, yes, I'm definitely going to try to go back to that event and get the tour one day. Well, Mr. Holmes, Nashville was just doing dues, so it is very common sometimes that dues will take a long time. Our new membership can take a while because we are processing dues. HQ, as much as I'd love it, does not have an unlimited staff. There's about 3 people that process membership and dues, and it's just so much comes in from the organization around this time. It takes a lot, and some people work full-time, some people work part-time, but I think you might get it back before January. I couldn't guesstimate for you. I just don't have one, but I'm sure you'll be hearing from headquarters soon. Again, I can't wait to see you join this organization. Make sure to send a picture when you get your certificate. We'll post it on here and give you a warm SCV welcome. But without further ado, it is time for the guest speaker. And of course, if you don't know who our guest speaker is, it is California Division Commander Tod. And he is going to be talking about the community involvement the California Division has been doing, the massive, and I mean massive, heritage wins going on in California with community involvement. So I can't wait to bring them on. Mr. Matt, it's just this time of year, it's really bowed down. And there's nothing really anybody can do about it right now with just the employees we have. They're working their butts off. I can attest to that. I go up there and volunteer and try to help out. And my gosh, do I feel bad for them. it's just stacks and stacks of dues and membership forms around this time of year. Because some new members will wait to send it in until the new year, and so it does add a lot. And again, you only have like 2 or 3 people working it. So that's what's up. They're working their hardest, though. I can attest to that, and they'll be getting your information to you shortly. But, of course, our sponsored break tonight, our commercial break is sponsored by scvchat.com. If you want to go to scvchat.com and check out episodes live there, or our favorite archived episodes, or our videos of the month, or our store, or just the many cool other things we have on our website, please go check out scvchat.com. But also check SCV Chat on Patreon. For $2.50 a month, you can throw some general support our way with the Feed a Moose tier. For $10 a month, you can be a real chat head. You get your name scrolling at the bottom of the screen at the end of every episode, and you also get exclusive behind the scenes contents like an exclusive show, content. Sometimes Connor will post some very well thought out posts, and then you'll have me being like, here's a stick. And we'll come up with more and more content every day for y'all. For $30 a month, you can join the merch tier. While this hat is coming soon to SCV Chat stores, logo hat, please get it. The merch tier will have merchandise that even me and Connor, the owners of SCV Chat, cannot get. So make sure to check that out. And for $80 a month, you can sponsor the show like Dr. Chris Cummins. Have you fallen off a fence or poked your eye with a stick recently? If you have, make sure to go check out Dr. Chris Cummins. He will treat you with some Southern hospitality, get you on your way. And if you got any knee pain, he can also take a look at that too. So make sure to check out Dr. Chris Cummins in the Oxford, Mississippi region. And we will be right back after this quick commercial break with our guest, California Division Commander Tod.
There is a place nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost, stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
I don't know if he's watching, but this is Army of Northern Virginia Commander Jamie as a cartoon. So I just had to. I saw that while I was sharing to a couple of the groups. It had to. But yeah, that commercial break is sponsored by, of course, one more time, scvchat.com, scvchat on Patreon, where you can help us reclaim the narrative 1 week at a time. All that money goes into making the show better. Me and Connor honestly don't touch any of that money. We use it all for better equipment and to make better videos and to, of course, send out the SCV Chat product to people who wouldn't see it otherwise. And, of course, our great sponsor, Dr. Chris Cummins, MD. And, of course, tonight we have the man, the myth, the legend, California Division Commander Tod. Commander, how are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Oh, I cannot complain. Happy that to have you on. And I'm not going to take any more of your time, especially for the episode. So in a second, you can go ahead and get started on your topic if you'd like.
Yeah, it seems like every time we're having technical difficulties here, Moose.
All right. Well, if let me, I'll put you behind the scenes to see if you can fix it real quick. But you can just kind of send me a message whenever you want to get on. I can stall for a bit if you'd like. Happens to the best of us, people. You're getting a warm ovation with the crowd.
Well, let's try this because I'm in the storeroom. So it seems like when we went to commercial break, that's when it started happening. So but glad to be here. Lots been going on here in California, and we're proud of it. We're giving it all we can, and we're not going to stop. We know everybody around the Confederation is doing all they can as well. We call ourselves behind enemy lines, and we're just about as far behind enemy lines as you can get out here. It's challenging, yes, but we've found a few ways to get in and work into it, and I'm going to take that momentum and the rest of the members, and we're going to run with it and make it work.
Well, y'all certainly have so far. I got a couple pictures of y'all, and just phenomenal work. First, I don't know if y'all see it presented by the California Division of the SCV, but they have their logo on this official poster for a city event. This is not an SCV event. This is not a reenactment. This is a city event. That is a major win just right there.
Yeah, we were approached several years ago by the organizer of that event when she saw us at another event and said, "Hey, would you guys be willing to, put up a booth?" And we did. And each year she keeps asking, "Hey, can you make your presence bigger and bigger and bigger?" And this year, God willing, we were able to be one of the presenting sponsors. There was two of us, but I told her if we were going to do it, I wanted top billing, and she did. She came through, and that was, that's a first that I know of out here to pop up on a city government website and not catch any backlash from it. It's like you said in a prior episode, we spent 3 weeks on the city's digital billboard as well.
Mm-hmm.
And every handout that they gave to everybody during the event, our logo was on there with the name, all of the paper handouts, it was on there. So it was just a great way to get the name out there and, promote the SCV as a whole, plus the division. And it was just a great day. They have a rib cook-off as kind of the anchor event, but the line actually forms right in front of our information booths. We had another camp there with us. We had Camp 1804, the General Tyree Harris Bell out of Fresno, and then we had the Camp 2048, the General Albert Sidney Johnston camp there. Both of them having booths. It was just a great day.
Again, y'all have seemed to do something that not a lot of other divisions can say they've done in a time where we are hunted and treated just awful, like we are the worst organization imaginable. Here's the California Division sponsoring a city event and the city being happy you're involved. that's just massive work that y'all have done over there in the community.
Well, thank you. It's we've kind of adopted the attitude of, we've got to be a little more public. If we're going to gain members and get people to recognize who we are and what we actually stand for, we've got to be a lot more public than we have been in the past. And this is one way to do it, is just seek out those events that are ran by the city. Yeah, we don't get that many reenactments anymore here in California. So I'm looking for other events that we can attend, and that just happens to be one of them. So it's working out, and it really is gaining ground, and I'm happy to say that we haven't been shut down yet.
Well, the reason I'm touting this as a big win, because it is, but let's say you're in Mississippi. I'm 5th Brigade Commander. One of my camps, the Nathan Bedford Forest Camp, goes in the Veteran Parade, and they won't allow us to have the 3rd National. And I mentioned the 3rd specifically because there's one picture I love, and it's this dead gum picture of y'all in the parade in front of a city of government building in the state of California with the 3rd National flag.
Yeah, it's we kind of use that flag, and it's not the battle flag, and we're not hiding from the battle flag. This has got a representation of that St. Andrew's cross on it, that 3rd National, and we take off from the booth and we walk all the way from one end of the event down to the other and back, and people cheer. Nobody yells and screams and hollers and runs us off. That's right in front of City Hall. That building in the background is City Hall. It's worked out, and it's one of the other hooks I've used is this area was a Southern supporting area just leading up to the war and all during the war. Mm-hmm. So it was really just telling them, hey, if you're going to tell the story, you got to tell the whole story. And we just happen to have a mayor and an organizer of the events that are believers of telling the entire story, and they're letting us tell our story. You mentioned parade. So this November will be the 107th Veterans Day Parade. They have invited the Sons of Confederate Veterans to be represented in that parade for the first time ever.
And again, you have Southern states that are running us off. They don't want us in the Veterans Parade. And I want to stress that is just the hard work y'all have done to get recognized out there. And you do have a chart. Would you like me to pull that up about the California?
Yeah. So, compatriot Holmes, that was in chat earlier, he was gracious enough. He put this together. And if you look at it, these are the Confederate enlistment numbers leading up and during the war. You can see 75 to 90% was just about southern to central California, and then it goes down, and then your typical Northern California, it's just like it is today. It's not very supportive of the Southern cause, but people don't realize that California may have not had battles out here, but it did contribute during the years of the war. Mm-hmm. And even after the war, when the veterans were looking for a place to start over, there's over 2,000 of them that are buried out here that founded cities. They founded counties and contributed to what California is today. Now, sometimes, in the past, they tried to sweep that under the rug, but we're not letting them do that anymore. When we're out, we're bringing that back to light, and people are really enlightened by it and wanting more information. So, and that's the thing, we're getting teachers that had never heard of things like that out here, and they're asking for the information. We're giving it to them, and they're going to put it in their curriculum. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, I didn't know that one. Oh gosh, again, massive win after massive win, and we'll talk why at least Commander Tod thinks has contributed to that. But I mean, just that is massive, and showing some people from the parade got the first national there, and yep. I believe this is. Oh, go back.
Yeah, if you go back to that one there, when we get the chance and we're doing color guard, that flag, we've got the first national, but we throw in the Bennington flag. That's not the actual current U.S. flag. That's the Bennington flag. That's a Rev War flag from the period. So, that's representative of fighting the tyranny, just like we do today.
Yeah, and I also love this one for the California Division flag.
Yeah, so that's the first national and everything. But we have a supporter that rode his horse to the event, and towards the end of the event, he goes, "Hey, you don't have any cavalry here. Get up on the horse, and that way you can actually be mounted." So I climbed up, and there I am, and the gentleman if you're looking at the screen on the right, that's Commander Gillette from the Fresno camp, and then we've got compatriot Howard next to the flagpole there from Camp 2048, and then we've got Lieutenant Commander of the division and for Camp 2048, Greg Frazier there at the other end. But the man who supplied the horses, he keeps telling us, be proud of the flag. He's Hispanic, but he keeps telling us, hey, bring that flag out. I want to see that flag. So we're going to do it. He's even offered to, for the next event next year, for the other event that we sponsored, to donate a second horse for me to ride. And he wants me to ride with the battle flag in that event.
That's phenomenal. Again, you hear California and you think, well, this couldn't be done in a southern state. Surely it can't happen in California. Boom, cavalry.
Well, it's just education, and it's a slow uphill battle, and we are by no means taking over the state. We've just got a few areas that we're concentrating on and trying to build that grassroots movement where once they have us, if somebody says the wrong word and they do try to shut us down, people will say, hey, where are those guys? And that's our end to come back.
Well, I mean, me and you've talked about this, and we'll talk about this a bit later, but the grassroots effort, the getting involved in your community in this way, I think the California Division is leading the charge and probably one of the best divisions at it, if we're being honest, when it comes to reclaiming the narrative. I mean, again, you look at this dadgum picture.
So that's the man that supplied the horse right there, and he's a proud Hispanic, and he's like, I display my flag, you have to do yours. And so I agreed with him.
Again, this getting involved in the community, and you're right, if a Confederate attack did happen out there, all of a sudden people aren't thinking of us as the narc book, the knockoff racist group that they say we are a racist group, like they say, or a hate group, or this group of evil men. That they know y'all as the camp members of the California Division that's come out, been a part of events, smiled, helped out, just been an actual part of the community. And again, that's kind of what I wanted to focus on when you told me about and we'll get to that, another massive win when it comes to politics. I'm still dumbfounded about that, by the way. I was like, I have to have Tod come back on and talk about this because in my humble opinion, and again, I don't know what's going on throughout the Confederation. I know a decent bit just because y'all send it in, our viewers, but I don't know everything. But I'll say this right here because I respect the work you're doing. I think you're doing some of the best work in the organization in California. And I mean, again, I couldn't show up with a third national right now in my hometown where a couple years ago, everybody had a battle flag hanging in my town. Now you don't see it so much anymore. And it's becoming less and less of a thing. But here you are in California. Again, there's the first national, a variation of the first national, but boom, third, boom, third. Boom, an actual dead gum battle flag with the first national, second, third, Army of Trans-Mississippi back there. Again, the secession flag of California. This is just their booth. That is a huge accomplishment.
Well, we're not taking away from anybody else. You guys out there, you are giving it everything. And, like you and I when we first spoke, you didn't even realize California had a division.
Nope. I sat by Tod for, I think it was 2 division reunions ago, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had just been elected or if you was the first lieutenant. I don't remember the story completely, but I remember we sat by Tod, me and my father, for an award ceremony, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe something else. We talked to Tod for like 45 minutes. And next thing I know, someone says California Division. And I said, in our dreams. And then someone was like, Tod was like, well, I'm a member of the California Division. We have a California Division. And come to find out, the California Division is probably one of the hardest working divisions we have and has accomplished so much. Tod is gone, but I'm going to continue to sing Tod's praises. Again, thank you. Oh, it's working. But I mean, when we first talked, you're right. I can't remember. It might have not been at a national reunion. It might have been over the phone or email now that I think about it. But I had no idea. It could have been in the chat because I know you've been a viewer of the chat for a while. And I remember I heard California Division and I was like, yeah, in our dreams. And come to find out, yeah.
Well, you got to remember when the UCV camps were being formed and everything, California had a huge camp just north of where we are here. The Fresno UCV camp had 250 members, and they came straight out here and landed and started farming. And it was in the old Confederate veteran magazines, and they were touting the fact that, hey, they had just chartered with 250 members. So, and here we are the direct descendants of those men who are still out here. We're fighting the same fight. We're fighting the same battles that you all are. It's just, we're trying new tactics daily. And, it's kind of like throwing things at the wall and finding what sticks. We found a few things that stick, and that's what we're running with. Everybody does a great job of taking care of headstones and cemeteries. And that's one of the things that we point out is, hey, when you go out to the cemeteries and you see guys that are digging around and cleaning things, that's us. But we also bring up to the fact, too, that we're not just doing our men. We do all veterans when we're out there. And they're like, wow, that's an honorable thing. Tell us more about who you are. And so once they know that we're doing honorable things and everything, we're not those other guys that, have hijacked the battle flag and made a bad name for us throughout the years.
They have hijacked it. It's not theirs.
That's not theirs. They're kind of like, oh, I get it. And they're like, well, it's just a family thing. And you're right. It is a family thing. And then they're on board.
Wow. again, and we'll talk about it again in a second, and we do have some more pictures to go through, but it's just, again, everybody, I'm trying to stress it to all our viewers. I want you to share this episode out to your divisions, to your camps, because we want to get this message out, because if it can happen in California, we can do it here. We just need to follow California's lead. Now, again, how weird is that to say in the Confederate cause? But Division Commander Tod, the camps out there, the members out there, and you might think it's impossible, but as me and Todd have talked about, and of course I know this, anybody that works in an organization like this, from the NRA to us, know that very few people actually a few people do all the work. Like if you have a big division, but say, or a big camp, and you're like, but there's only like 5 or 6 people. Well, that's 5 or 6 people you can count on.
Right.
And you can do this stuff. My camp is small. I'm blessed that we have a good portion of our members show up for meetings, but we are a small camp, but we were able to raise $1,000 for the 21st Century Confederate Heroes. We were able to raise $1,000 the same year to put up 3 headstones to people from my hometown that was somehow got to Virginia to be buried, and they never had a headstone. I mean, you can do it. You don't need a lot of manpower. That is kind of a trick that our mind picks on us, because it will put a lot of stress on you. I'm not going to lie. But look at the rewards. Look what the California Division has done with their group of men. Again, there's always going to be a small group of people doing a lot of the work, but look what these group of men have done. And I'm going to kind of slide to the next picture here. Again, the 3rd Dead Gum National at a California city event.
Yeah, so that is another city government building. And I told him, I said, hey, I had first went to him and told him I wanted to get up on top of City Hall with the flag, and they were having issues with the leaks up there, and they said, hey, not a good idea to be walking around on it. And they said, well, what about the city building right here in the park that's right by you guys where everybody congregates? I said, perfect. So we marched the Gillis flag, the California secession flag, and we mounted it, and I followed up with the 3rd National in there, and made sure everybody was aware that, hey, the South was here.
It's just, again, if this would have happened in some of the areas I have worked for the cause, I could go back a couple years ago when it was better for us, and I still would have gotten in trouble. I could go back to my time at Ole Miss, and a time when people still cared about the Mississippi state flag and flown a state flag or a 3rd National and gotten in trouble. I remember when I carried the 3rd National on campus. I'm a pot stirrer, and I would show it to people and be like, this is a beautiful flag. Would you like to know any information on it? I got spit on. I got stuff thrown at me. Someone snatched the flag and took off. He must have been a track star, because my fat tail sure as heck didn't catch up with him. I had to go buy a new 3rd National. I tried to. I really did. But again, if that can happen in California with all y'all's hard work, it can happen in the rest of the Confederation if we follow what y'all have been doing.
It's just education, Moose. Everybody knows the battle flag, and they associate us with that battle flag. Yes, it is in our official logo, but we try to educate them on the reasons for that battle flag and the reason why it was created. And once you do that, it kind of clicks with them. And we have a little handout. It's got it's got the 1st National, the Bonnie Blue, the 2nd, the 3rd National, and the battle flag. And it's got a little brief history behind all of them. And you give that to them to take home. You talk to them about it while they're there, and their whole perception changes, because they've only been taught what they think was right, which we all know wasn't the right thing. We didn't get to write the history books.
No, all right. The victors did, as Patrick Claiborne would say.
Yes.
But I mean, again, how long have y'all been active? Because, like, again, this all traces back to getting involved in your community, educating your community, doing community projects, doing Confederate projects. But like, as you said, when you were out there cleaning the soldiers, turning it into a community project if people asked, or trying to get the news out that, hey, look, we were able to clean all these cemeteries today for all these veterans. We're the California Division Sons of Confederate Veterans, and it's our honor. Just that is how important community involvement is. How long have y'all been at this?
So our division's only 31 years old, and there's been great men come before me. I was only elected in March, but my whole outlook was to be a lot more public about who we were and get more publicly involved. We have camps that do community food drives. We have camps that do clothing drives, and they're focused on their communities, which is all great. And anything we can do at the division level to support them, then I'm there to do that. If they've got an event and they don't mind me showing up as the division commander, or if they want me just as a regular member, I'm there. All they have to do is call, or I might just surprise them and show up like I did last weekend. The Fresno camp, believe it or not, there is a castle here in California being built. There it is. It's called Castle Noz, N-O-Z. And the Fresno camp, Camp 1804, they had an information booth there on the left. But this man is from Holland, and he's building a doggone castle. It is a castle. But it was a 2-day event where they had reenactments. The first day, which was actual Friday, that it was open, they had over 300 school kids show up, walking through the camps and everything and getting information. And it was all positive. The kids enjoyed it. The teachers enjoyed it. So you just got to find those events and work it and work it and work it. I'm looking at some other events that have gone away. I'm trying to get them back. I know it's going to be a battle, but that's okay. I'm not afraid of the battle. We just need more avenues, and the more avenues that we can get, then the more people we can reach. And thank goodness for your program here, because it reaches a lot of people, and it helps us out as a division. It helps us out as the whole Confederation. And it's just use the tools that you have. Nowadays, it's gone are the days of mailing letters and sending postcards. It's all social media now. Everything's done on the phone or on the computer. So you got to use the tools that you have and either find those events or promote them.
I couldn't agree more. And again, y'all are just, wow, leading the charge so well. And by the way, those pamphlets, send those to me before I forget, because my camp's got something coming up in February, so I want those. And anybody that wants them, by the way, I'll get you in contact with the California Division Commander, because again, all of us help. The whole reason I wanted Commander Tod on the show was because not only do I love what he's doing, I think it is the future of the SCV. I think it is how we win this war in the SCV. But not only that, I want to help out other camps, and we all can share ideas. I'm not just saying, whatever Tod says tonight, which, I'm sure he'll agree with this, is the golden rule. But we all have to share ideas to make ourselves better. And the poor California division, they're all the way behind enemy lines. So let's share some news and let's figure out how we can help each other out. But something.
If I've got a document that you can use, you are more than welcome to it. All you got to do is say, hey, do you have this or have that? If I've got it, you twist it to how you can make it work for you. We're all in it together. And we need to get into that of sharing it back and forth, because there are great ideas that have been out there and reworked, and they're working in other places. and that's how we're going to win together.
Amen. We can't win this fight if it's not together. That's why I've talked about the SCV first philosophy, which honestly, all that is putting differences aside and working together, learning from each other. I know for my camp, I've learned a lot from Tod tonight. I feel bad for my camp. There's going to be a lot to talk about at the next meeting. But not only that, and I do want to shine light on one last major victory, and I don't know Tod's schedule after that. He can just talk for as long as he wants to. But in Mississippi, we used to have the governor of the state come to our events. We used to have one of the most powerful senators in the national Congress show up to our events. We couldn't get the county dog catcher right now if I tried. And I mean, sent him emails. I know my county's dog catcher. I went to high school with him, and he still wouldn't come to an SCV event. He still wouldn't accept an SCV award. And California, the wins don't stop coming in when it comes to the heritage fight. And I'm not going to take anything away from him. I'm going to let Division Commander Tod tell you a bit more.
So you've got another photo that you're going to put up that you're talking about. And we were going to present that award that you're going to bring up at this public event because the public didn't know of the actions of the mayor. So we thought, hey, this is a great way to let our public know what he's doing. But we created this award at the division level. It is called the Alonzo Ridley Life-Saving Award. Now, Alonzo Ridley was the undersheriff of Los Angeles leading up to the war and at the beginning of the war. He was a member of the Los Angeles Mounted Rifles that supported the Southern cause. And he and his men escorted General Albert Sidney Johnston when he resigned his command of the Pacific to go back east and ultimately was killed at Shiloh. But Alonzo Ridley was stationed at a nearby Union fort prior to his Southern support, and then had local dealings with the Native American tribe here locally, right up in the foothills of this area. So we used all of that history and that research to tie it in to this award so that it was personalized just for this area. And not only is it bringing light to the mayor's duties, but also it brings light to the Southern cause in California as well. And, we created the certificate for it. And then we created the little medal. It's like a challenge coin on the front of it. It's got that Alonzo Ridley Life-Saving Award with the California bear. And on the back of it, it's got the mayor's name, the date that he saved the men from the burning car. And then he received award number 0001, the very first ever. So, and there it is at the city council meeting. So he couldn't make the public event, and he called me the night before and said, hey, I'm sorry, I can't make it. I got a family thing that I got to do. Would you mind doing it at the city council meeting coming up the following Tuesday? Because it's going to become permanent record of the city that way. It's going to be transcribed, videotaped. And I said, you bet, I'll be there. And so they had their little public comment section. And at the end of it, I stood up, presented him with the award. All of the other city council members, they all stood up and congratulated him for his efforts. But, it was just another way to get involved at the community level and let them know that, hey, you're here supporting them as well. They, instead of always asking for their support, you can show them that you support them too. So, and that's what we did. But in doing so, the mayor asked if we would be willing to gain a seat on the Heritage Committee that is planning all of the heritage events moving forward. So now the SCV has a seat on that committee. Next year marks the 250th anniversary. They're already wanting Southern soldiers for that event to be represented. So it's just things like that are snowballing. So it's making use of it, and we're going to, and I encourage everybody, find that local event that you can support them, even if you have to go out without a booth to begin with. Go out there, offer your support, let them know who you are, ask them if they've got anything going on, that in the community, and show up. Don't hide the battle flag, because people aren't educated enough right now to accept it. And if the Dukes of Hazzard were still on TV, we could do it, but they're not. But lead other ways. Put that battle flag in the back of the booth. Lead with the first national, because everybody goes, oh, look at that pretty Betsy Ross. It's not a Betsy Ross. That's our first national flag. And then you tell them all about it. And then they've got the whole story.
They got the whole story, and they can start to slowly start accepting Confederate imagery again. Because, I mean, that's something that we don't really talk about, is the fact that we're so hated. The word Confederate, the word Southern, our beautiful logo, our beautiful flags, people hate them. And that's because they're taught to hate them. And we do have to find a way to educate people. And that's not by any means running. Because if we run, then that flag, their flag, people talk about it, and I do have something. I don't know what this was from, but let me cover it up. This beautiful logo. The UCV said this was their flag. So it is our mission to make sure it is honored and preserved. And the way to do that is to make sure it is soon accepted in these public circles. Again, look at the Third Nationals they had. Look at the battle flag in their own booth they had. If you tell me that the California Division is running from the flag, I might bust out laughing at you. They're putting in the work to make sure it's accepted. And that's something we're all going to have to do. And I couldn't agree more with the commander, or stand by the commander more.
I kind of look at it like this, Moose. I'm not going to change somebody's mind in just a few moments of conversation. But if I can give them some facts that they can go back and check themselves and question what they have been taught, that right there will make them question everything else they were taught about us to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
They will go and find that information. Tell them the truth. Let them know the source. Let them go find it. And then it slowly changes.
Well, I always love the description my father gives. When he first started seeing basketball courts pop up at church, he loved it because he was a high school kid getting to play basketball. But as he got older and, again, being a man of God and wanting to bring students, as he was a basketball coach, to God, he thought, man, these kids are just going to church to play basketball. Why are we adding this? Why aren't we just being ourselves? Why aren't we just telling them God, boom, in the face? Well, Dad also says this. But then I realized that these basketball courts got people into churches that normally wouldn't be them. And they slowly got to preach the gospel to the point where they didn't come for the court. They came for God.
Right.
And that's kind of what I apply to the battle flag. We have to educate them, or they will never accept it. But if I go around and I hit someone in the head with a battle flag, they're just going to continue to hate it. Because a lot of people aren't too far gone. A lot of our enemies, you couldn't change their mind if you hogtied them and put them up on the top of a Christmas tree. They're just not going to do it.
No.
But a lot of people, a lot of the public will turn their ideas around on this if we do what the California Division is doing. It's not running. It's our basketball court. Our church is just over here, though. Our church has that logo. After you accept it, after you learn the truth, after the seeds have been planted, now it's time to go spend time in the church.
Yeah. It's we did a past event in Southern California, and their camp flag is the battle flag. And you had the picture on here. Those were teachers. One of them was a public school teacher. The other one was a homeschool teacher. And I was explaining the meaning behind that flag and that St. Andrew's cross. And they were just amazed that it had religious connotations to it. And they had just always been told that it was those other guys' flag that hijacked it. It was just all pure hatred. And it wasn't. When I told them about, the first national being on the battlefield, when it was not flying in the wind, when it was laying down, it looked a lot like the federal flag. So we had to come up with some way to distinguish between our men and them. And they were like, well, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. But they'd never had that explanation given to them. So it's our duty and part of our living the charge to educate them.
Amen.
So.
Amen. Is kind of as we get ready to start closing the show, Commander, is there anything you want to tell the divisions, the camps, the brigades, people that want to make a difference, anything they need to know or should start trying to do?
Just reach out at the local level, whether it's, helping another organization do what they're doing, get in with them and help them and let that work into something else. We've got some more events coming up. We've got another sponsored event coming up on November 1st in Randsburg, California, that we get asked to lead the parade for it. So we'll have a color guard there. We've got wreaths across America that we do. It's the only 100% Confederate event that we have firearms at and everything. The guys do their gun salutes at. And then going into March, we don't use that U word. We have our Reconfederation in March, the 27th, 28th, and 29th for our division. But, just find those avenues that let you do what you need to do and do it at the local level. Start small and let it work up. That's what we've been doing.
Amen. Start small and work your way up. You would be surprised. I have a troll in the audience. Or actually, not a troll. This is someone trying to get personal information from one of our members, a scammer. But I couldn't agree more. Start out small and work your way up. You'll be surprised what you can accomplish.
It'll come. It will come.
And it's not going to be easy.
No, but nothing in life is.
No.
So, but, I want to thank you for all you do. The GEC, our AT, our commanders, our Army commanders, all of them, nobody knows the job until you walk in their shoes. They're all doing a great job. Headquarters does a great job. And all of our camps do a great job. They're doing it at their own level and their own ability. Just find something that works. This is just what's been working for us. And if it helps you or gives you a fresh idea, run with it, and, Moose you can always ask Moose for my contact info, and Moose, you can share it out. And if I can help, another camp or division in any way, if I can send them something, it's there.
Well, we can't thank you enough, Commander, and thank you for coming on tonight again. Let's all give some flowers to the California Division. Again, not probably, one of the most hardest working camps in the division, leading the charge in ways that even some Southern divisions aren't. And I'm sure that y'all will spark something because competition is great, ain't it? And so I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
But make sure to share this episode out so we can get this news out about the California Division to all the armies, to all the divisions, to all the brigades, and all the camps that we can. And make sure you tune in Monday at 7 p.m. Confederate Standard Time for your weekly episode of SCV Chat. On this Monday, we will have Executive Director Adam Southern on to give you your Hearth and Home episode, as well as maybe something fun too Thursday. Don't know yet. We're going to see. Maybe a Halloween episode, maybe not. Last time we did a Halloween episode, I got canceled for being Joe Biden, so who knows. Please send your pictures, short videos, and write-ups to scyouthoutreach@gmail.com, and you'll be featured on the upcoming episode of Look Around the Confederation. Make sure to tune in. I think tomorrow, the Friends of Doug and South R. Freeman is doing a rerun on one of their episodes. And, of course, Sunday, Michael C. Hardy on History, the man, the myth, the legend himself, the historian from North Carolina, will be given probably another great program that I hope you all attend. Without any further ado, we do have some great people in the chat. David, Matt, Al. You even got a great past commander-in-chief. You got Charles. You got Alan. I was looking at Al when I said that. Matt, thank you all. Again, I want to state, thank you, of course, to the California Division Commander for coming on. And keep up the great work. Y'all are absolutely killing it out there. And I can't wait for Mississippi to catch up with you.
Well, thank you, sir. We'll send you more as it happens.
Looking forward to it. We want to thank our Patreon members for supporting the show. And without any further ado, everybody, one last time, make sure to share this out and to remember to stay Southern. Good night, everybody.